We're here at spacious Bowl-A-Rama Lanes in Newcastle for the championship round finals of the Columbia 300 Delaware Open. Hi everyone, I'm Leila Wagner, and you've heard us mention star-studded fields in the past. Well, tonight we have one for you. Our top 5 finalists combined have 74 national titles and an incredible 299 television appearances. We also have the 2 all-time leading money winners on the telecast tonight, along with the reigning Rookie of the Year and the reigning Player of the Year. And speaking of the Player of the Year, she is our top seed tonight. Wendy McPherson-Papanos is trying to become the second player in LPBT history to earn that honor 2 years in a row. She currently leads all 3 categories, but she trails in titles. If she wins tonight, she'll tie Liz Johnson for the number of titles won this year. In the number 2 position, Tish Johnson won this event here in 1990. She's still looking for her first title in 1997. She currently has 21 national titles, 4 of those coming from the number 2 position. In the number 3 position, Carol Giannotti Block is trying to win back-to-back titles. She is the 3rd player this season, already this fall, to try to do so. Marianne DeRupo and Nikki Giannoulias fell short, but if cities bring luck, Carol Giannotti might have an advantage. Carol won this event in 1992. Our number 4 and number 5 qualifiers are getting ready to start their first match, and they're down on the lanes with my partner, Jan Schmidt. Now, Jan?
Thanks, Leila. I'm here with our number 5 seed, Liz Johnson. Liz, she's going for her 4th title of the year. You look like you're playing the lanes a little bit different than you were during the morning blocks. What change did you make?
I had a little trouble in the morning, so I drilled up a couple balls, and hopefully that'll give me a little bit more area and more confidence for the first couple matches.
So are you going to try to open up the lane a little more?
I hope so.
Good luck to you, Liz, in your quest for your 4th title this year.
Thanks.
On my right here is Aleta Sill. She's our number 4 qualifier, WIBC Hall of Famer. She won the AMF Gold Cup earlier this year. Aleta, you've been struggling a little bit with your timing. You look great tonight. How do you feel?
I don't feel very good, but it's a little better. I practiced this afternoon, worked out a little bit, and I'm trying to get my footing straightened out. It feels a little better, but it's not quite right yet. Hopefully it'll be good enough, though.
Are the lanes good for you tonight, the condition?
They're not too bad.
Good luck to you, Aleta.
Thank you.
They're ready to start.
All right, thank you, Jan. And Liz Johnson will be starting match number 1. I mentioned spacious. Bowl-A-Rama has 74 lanes. We are on lanes 59 and 60. Liz Johnson from Niagara Falls, New York. Tender age of 23. This is her 2nd year on tour, and she has not heard about the sophomore jinx, or she has just chosen to overcome it, as she has 3 national titles so far this year. And she opens up with a pocket strike. Aleta Sill, 35 years old, from Dearborn, Michigan, has been on tour for 17 years, has 28 national titles. Her 28th one coming this past summer in the AMF Gold Cup. A little bit through the nose.
Well, as she said, she's been working on her timing. She's been really struggling, actually feeling like she's going to fall. She said she even did fall one time during that tournament that she won. So she can't get started. You may see her stop a few times, but that's okay. If you're not comfortable, stop and start over again. She's pushing the ball a little too soon. Ball's ahead of her feet.
In baseball, they call that a balk.
And that's what she's calling it. She said, I'm hoping not to balk tonight.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. She picks up the spare. It's amazing, Jan, though. She had that much problem, and she still made it to the telecast.
Well, she was able to keep the ball on line. She said there was enough conditioner for her this week that she could keep the ball going toward the pocket. When your timing's early and the ball's there ahead of you, it's hard for a left-hander to project the ball to the left. So she's been able, because of the amount of conditioner out there, to keep the ball in a straight line toward the pocket.
So fortunately for Aleta, the lanes suited her game this week. Oh, 4-pin. Slaps around the 7 there.
And that was a good shot. She'll start to feel comfortable. I know last night when we spoke, she was not too comfortable coming into tonight. She seemed a little better during that interview right there.
I mentioned in the opening there, 2 of our players have won here in Delaware. Aleta Sill has also won this event. She did so in 1994.
Collin with the 7-pin.
You mentioned no sophomore jinx for this lady. Right there, 6th TB appearance this year. Absolutely right. It's been a while. In fact, I took a look back, and we've never had a player be Rookie of the Year and then Player or Bowler of the Year the following year. It's never happened, and this lady has a pop at it this year.
Well, a title here tonight would give her 4 titles, and Wendy McPherson-Papanos would be next behind with 2. So you're right, Jen, she'd have 2 titles up. Even though she is not leading in any of the categories, I'm sure a lot of the bowling riders and all vote, you know, on the amount of titles.
Liz has a 5-step approach, holds the ball right around chest high. She stays behind the ball all the way. Watch her wrist position. She's very mechanical. Real defined swing, but all the way behind it. See how she came through that? Watch the wrist position here. Right behind the ball. She's rotating a little bit, but very slightly. And that is the reason that Liz Johnson is able to play on challenging conditions, because she does not get in trouble. Doesn't use a lot of rotation. And as I say that, oh, comes up light.
2-pin looked like it might go there at the last minute. Jan, a number of the players still use wrist devices, you know, with the fact that resin balls really hook a lot. How do they find them that necessary?
Well, actually, Liz uses it to take hook off the ball. She does not want to rotate as much, and she finds with a wrist device where she can't cup her wrist, she doesn't rotate as much. And she's so successful this way, there's no reason for her to try to rotate the ball anymore.
Interesting note. Most people think you might wear a wrist device to actually rotate the ball more, but...
and some people do.
And in her case, she's actually probably cups it so much when she naturally bowls without one. Great. Well, even though Aleta is the all-time leading money leader, she's still looking ahead.
I think just trying to win. I think I've accomplished everything that I set out to do, and but I just like to win, and I just want to keep on winning if I can.
And just by qualifying for the top 5 finalists, that's how you get up the ladder, and of course that's how you continue to rack up those titles. And I'm sure she's still trying to go after Lisa Wagner's 30 titles.
I'm sure she is. Lisa's sitting right beside us here going, no, she's not.
And Lisa Wagner is keeping score for us this evening.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she wants Aleta to win, but Lisa's going to keep building on those titles also. Yeah, she's shaking her head yet.
Thumbs up from my left. And leaving herself with a baby split. Aleta changes balls to try to convert. And does so. Well, it's all clean here in the match number 1 at Bowl-A-Rama Lane. Stay with us. We'll have more action when we come back. Don't go away. Chip round finals of the Columbia 300 Delaware Open are being brought to you by Sam's Town Hotel, Gambling Hall, and Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. And by Burger King, where you get your burger's worth. And we're back here at Bowl-A-Rama Lanes for the Columbia 300 Delaware Open. Liz Johnson in frame number 4 is trailing Aleta Sill by just 1 pin. Very close match here.
Coming up light. She's going to change balls here to shoot her spare. See, she defeated Aleta throughout the week, 246 to 233. She's going to use a ball that doesn't hook. In fact, it actually fading back a bit.
Former Team USA member, also a 2-time U.S. National Amateur Champion, 1993 and 1994. Just a fantastic amateur career before she came out here on tour. And Jan, it really seems to have added to her professional career, gave her confidence. She came out here right away, took the tour by storm.
She said she learned a lot. In fact, Leila, she was on the team in '96. It was the 3rd year she was on Team USA. She gave up her spot in order to come turn pro. Reminds me of Tammy Turner, did the same thing.
That's right. And we'll have an interview with Tammy Turner a little later on in the show. Aleta Sill right now with 1-pin lead. And continues. Well, 2 weeks ago, we brought you news of a fire at the Columbia Bowling plant. Connie Smoot, the vice president, tells us about that fire.
Yes, it was 2 weeks ago today, and about this time 2 weeks ago, I was wondering when I went back to the office if I would have a car. I thought the building was gone. Luckily, almost everything was intact, and the best thing about it is the very next day, we had employees coming back in asking what they could do to help. So the cleanup and all the veteran employees and the new employees have just bunched together and brought it back together, and we're back in production. Now, we won't be 100% for a few months, but we are back in production, and we're very proud of it.
And that was great news. Thanks, Connie. Connie Smoot, as I mentioned, the Vice President of International Sales for Columbia Industries. And Jan, we were all tense that night wondering if there were any injuries and what the outcome was going to be. So it's really nice to hear.
Yeah, it's wonderful. In fact, you know, obviously they sponsor this event and have for 9 years now. Great supporter of the tour, and it's a wonderful thing that they're able to get production going again so quickly.
Liz Johnson, no titles from the number 5 position. She has been successful, however, from the number 2 position. She has 1 title. Also from the number 1 position, where she has 2 titles. So coming up the ladder has not been something she's had to do too often. She did do it, however, in the U.S. Open last year when she won the 1996 U.S. Open.
Light again. Fortunate to break out the 5-pin there, so she just has a single pin spare. She's trying to open up the lane, as she said. She's setting this down around the 20th board, going right all the way, about 12th board, 11th board coming back. And it's just not hitting hard enough. She's probably experiencing a little carry down right now.
The Kentucky Cup is $1 million day of racing, featuring some of thoroughbred racing stars who are looking towards the Breeders' Cup Classic. Watch this Saturday, September 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern for thoroughbred action here on ESPN.
And Liz Johnson right now trailing by 1. I used to watch horse racing constantly as a child. My dad always took me out to Long Acres in Seattle, Washington, right outside of there. It was one of my favorite sports to watch.
And Liz still trying to get lined up here. We may, who knows, maybe she'll change and try to play a little more direct as she was earlier in the week.
Aleta Sill not choosing to watch her opponent. I'm sure with her own problems as far as her timing goes, she's just trying to keep a positive outlook on the match. Very close one here as Liz Johnson currently trailing by just 2 pins. And neither player really has an advantage here in match number 1. We'll have the rest when we come back here in the Columbia 300 Delaware Open. Stay with us. Leading by 2, currently, see, working on a spare. Neither player has doubled yet in this match, but neither player has opened either, and that is what's keeping it so close. Goes to show you in many matches, spares really play a very important role.
And Aleta gets a bit of a break there, a little smile.
And a look at the scoreboard as she can actually increase that lead to 12 pins if she can take advantage of that Brooklyn and strike here in the 8th.
Who's not looking. Aleta's feeling a lot more comfortable out here bowling right now because she's just purchased a motorhome, living out in the motorhome, and she loves it. Doesn't have to pack, unpack. She can be right here. She said she has her animals with her dog and cat, and she said it's just so much more like being at home.
That's right. She has to leave after each round and go let the dog or cat out, I guess, right? Take them for a walk. Get your mind off of bowling. Well, Liz Johnson now trails by 12 pins. Aleta Sill capitalizes on that Brooklyn with a double.
221.75 average on TV. if she maintains that average for over 30 games, that will be an LPBT record. It's currently 216.24.
And that's held by
Sandra Jo Shirey for 33 games, but you have to have over 30 games to hold that record.
That's amazing for a player who's only been out here 2 years to be so comfortable on television. How much television exposure did she get in amateur bowling?
She got quite a bit. She was able to get comfortable. It was different. She said when she first came out here, it was different and pressure out here. But when you're used to television, I think it helped her more than she even probably knows.
Liz Johnson winning her very first title out on tour with PBA member Mike Kench. And that was in the Ladies and Legends, and I'm sure that helped her be a little more comfortable too. You're actually not alone, and when you're in a doubles type setting.
Mm-hmm. If you're wondering about that average, she has 19 games in on TV, so she'd have to have 11 more. This will be 10 more after this to maintain that average for the record.
Well, she wins this and win up the ladder. She could add 4 games to that already. But right now, Aleta Sill has a 14-pin lead, working on a double. For Liz Johnson, it's been a clean game, but at this point, it's not enough.
Yeah, the best Liz can shoot right now would be 204. She can force Aleta to stay clean here.
Two-time Bowler of the Year, 1984 and 1985. Goes through the nose, and this is not going to be easy to pick up. 247.
And this is what's happening when her timing gets early. So when the ball is there early, she pulls it right. And that's why she's been having difficulty when there hasn't been as much conditioner toward the middle of the lane, because if she pulls it right, of course, the ball hooks. She's going to change balls here to a ball that will not hook or won't hook very much and try to go straighter.
And again, no problem with the spare. Seems, Jan, that more of the women professionals actually really rely on spare shooting, more so than just throwing strikes. You watch a PBA tournament, many times they're able to throw a lot more strikes and don't seem to care as much as if they miss the spares.
Well, that's true, I think, but the more powerful your spare game is, I think the more difficult it is for you to shoot spares, because if you hook the ball a lot, you run into a few more challenges trying to shoot your spares. That's why most of the men now just try to throw it about 30 miles an hour and straight at the spares.
And they're very capable to do so with all that upper body strength. Right now, Aleta crosses over, but only leaves the 4-pin. She spares and strikes. She closes out Liz Johnson by just 1 pin. Pin count on this next ball, very, very important.
I'm sure Liz is not looking, probably just wanting to say, give me a chance to get up there. No, she is looking up.
Appears she's looking straight ahead. Oh, and we have a chance for a tie. Great shot, though. Boy, that 5-pin up against the wall. 204 from Aleta Sill. Liz Johnson needs all 3 to force a 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
That's exactly what we would have. Just a 9th and 10th frame. 3 big shots right now.
She has not struck on this lane this game. Wow. She has not struck on this lane in this game. She gets up, pressure situation, and pounds the pocket.
She kept that ball on line more, didn't let it out, didn't try to open up the lane there. She reverted to what she does best, straighter up the lane, just that little bit of finish at the back.
If she gets these 2 strikes, we go into a roll-off, 9th and 10th frame. Tell it was wide. Aleta Sill advances to match number 2. A great effort by this lady here, Liz Johnson. She'll settle for 5th place and a check for $2,800. Coming up, Carol Giannotti and Aleta Sill. Don't go away.